Okay, so spiritual psychosis is a mental health condition that occurs when a person's spiritual experience become overwhelming and cause them to lose touch with reality. It can manifest as a psychotic episode, which which symptoms is like delusions, especially those are related to spiritual and religious themes, hallucinations, intense emotional disturbances, paranoia, personality change, or confusion. Spiritual psychosis differs from other psychotic episodes because it's the mental health disorder because it's specifically linked with spiritual or religious experiences. Now, with that, I did see something interesting where spiritual practices like meditation and yoga and qigong can sometimes trigger spiritual emergencies. And that, so I
Hold on. So this situation there's a diagnosis for it.
yeah, there is a diagnosis, spiritual because
There's
psychosis.
there's a medical actual medical diagnosis.
Yes.
Okay.
Not,
Psychosis.
but there is psychosis, right?
Okay.
Where when a person becomes psychotic,
Okay.
Got it.
they go crazy, right? But the spiritual psychosis is somebody that actually believes like, for instance, cult leaders, right? They say, you know, back to God, we're going to God. They even have convinced people to take medicine that have killed them, or
Kill. Unalive
yeah,
them.
unalive them, or medicine that have actually, you know, they ooh-eyed, you know what I mean. They've actually convinced people to do that. They've talked about how it's the end of the world, and then we see the end of the world doesn't happen because they get into this realm or into this mindset that they are God or God has come back. And a lot of times, these type of events is schizophrenia. But it's undiagnosed schizophrenia. And then in more sense, people that are obsessed with religion too, because we all know people like that. We've had grandparents,
Yes, we
aunts
do.
and uncles where they get to that point. And then another part they talk about is like when a person turns 25, the frontal correlate, the frontal lobe develops in your brain, right? And that's when a lot of people become super religious. When that frontal lobe develops at 25, around the age, not specifically 25, but around that age, when your frontal lobe develops, that's when a lot of people become super religious. And then they say that could be a undiagnosed form of schizophrenia too. But how do y'all feel about that?
Would you like to go first, or would you
I'll let you go first.
Okay. I have no idea about psychosis, mitosis, or pitosis, or whatever it is. But I know what you said, because you sent me a clip of this, and they was talking about, and it just kept throwing me off because they said the age of 25. I already know you're like your frontal lobe that develops when you're 25 years old. But I'm trying to think back when I was 25, and I know a lot of times I can't base my life on everybody else's experience, but I didn't really see too many people around that age becoming like real spiritual or anything, or even dealing with schizophrenia. So that's why when they kept saying, like with that clip that you showed me, they kept saying 25, that's why it kept throwing me off.
But did you pay
But,
attention?
yeah, I paid attention to it, but
No, I'm saying, did you pay attention to people around you? Like, cause you're speaking like just yourself per se.
That's what I'm saying. I just go on my experience. Now I've seen people that have, you know, dealt with a traumatic experience all of a sudden become religious. So I mean, I honestly I'm going through a situation like that right now in my personal life. One of the reasons why I just recently had to cut my father off is because my dad is super religious, and I feel at times, sometimes when people are super religious like that, when you try to talk to them or give them advice, they feel like if you're not in the same realm with them, and when it comes to religion, that you can't talk to them or you can't give them advice. If you guys watch the show, you know my mom passed away in July. So there's things that my dad is doing that we're having discussions with my father, like, you know, maybe you need to go see a therapist, talk to somebody. Oh no, I don't need to talk about it to nobody, I got my Bible. But you know, when your car break down, you don't say nothing about it. You have your Bible, you take your car to a mechanic to get fixed. Just like, you know, God has given people certain skills or whatever to deal with mental health.
Do you think that he suffers from spiritual psychosis?
I think at times he does, because everything is just so religious.
Because you know it's
religion,
crazy.
it's so religion. It's so religion based. It's like you can't. When it's like stuff like, hey, you need to get some help with this. You need to go talk to somebody about this. It's like things that he don't want to do. It goes back to, well, I have my Bible, or I go pray. You know what I'm saying? But
you know, we grew up in the same situation where my parents is very religious too. Where would I say it's my mother suffered? Because you know I got a great relationship with my mother. She probably gonna watch the show too. But do I think sometimes she suffered from spiritual psychosis? I don't know if it was like to make herself feel comfortable, like growing us up and telling us just go read your Bible, go look at God. But my father is a preacher. My father he always felt that other things were offered. Like, let's say somebody had a problem with drugs, alcohol, go to treatment. Yeah. He felt like God offered these things. Yeah. So he felt like those were, you know, God works in the hand of everything. So he always felt like that. My mother, on the other hand, she sometimes would be like, go read your Bible, or, you know, and I don't know, maybe it's because she didn't want to have conversations. Because my mom's not a talkative person. Yeah. But spiritual psychosis, do I think my parents suffer from spiritual psychosis and they're in the church? I don't know. I don't know. Because I don't know, because the thing is, you do irrational things when you have any type of psychotic episodes, right? So I don't know, because if I say that because that would mean that everybody that's religious or everybody is spiritual is suffering from some type of
I don't agree.
So that's why I can't really say that. But sometimes I do remember, and you want to know what's also crazy? People that become people that deal with schizophrenia, they a lot of times, in a lot of cases, they start becoming super religious and start spurting out. I remember growing up in Jamaica and seeing people that were like going crazy, people walking the street. They start speaking out Bible verses and stuff, and so sometimes maybe that can. So go ahead.
What's your talking point?
Well, see, I grew up in two different churches.
Okay.
My grandmother's church was, what do they call it, Pentecostal. And then my dad's church is
I grew up Pentecostal too.
What do you call it?
Baptist.
Baptist, yes.
Free for all.
So it was kind of like two totally different worlds.
Pentecostal spiritual psychosis.
And that happened. There were episodes in church, and I never understood. I was like,
because Pentecostal churches are, yes.
And I'd be like, okay, what is happening? What is my grandmother saying? You know, what are you doing?
Yeah.
So,
speaking in tongues, right?
Neither of it ever like resonated with me.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, I saw it, and then I was just out of the loop with all of it. Yeah. It just growing up in two different churches, you would think, oh, she's a Christian woman, you know, or whatever I chose to be, but it just, none of it stuck.
Yeah.
So I really don't know about the psychotic part of it, but I do have, you know, family members that have kind of like been labeled schizophrenic and, you know, suffer from depression. And actually, like, I have a brother, you know, who's not really religious, always been kind of the quiet type and very observant and spiritual, and just somewhere down the line just had a breakdown. And when you brought that up, I started to think about him. It's like, is that what happened with them? But, you know, he doesn't talk enough for us to really understand if that's where it stemmed from.
And I don't want to make it seem like thought ops is just about everybody that's religious is suffering from a psychotic episode.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but I did want to have this conversation because it's important. And a lot of black people, we don't like having conversations because we don't want to. Because religion and science, we don't like them going hand in hand. We don't like to talk about
at all.
Yeah, we don't like religion. It got to be one or the other. Either religion or science. The world flat, or the world. You know what I'm saying? The world flat and God. You know, they feel like God has nothing to do with science, but God created the earth. So
yeah, like you said, like that's the type of church my dad is. Like the laying hands, the speaking in tongues, and people running around the church, and
speaking in
you know, like, you know, people falling out, they throwing blankets on top of them and stuff like that. So Yeah, and I'm not judging. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because, and I feel like when it comes to spirituality, I feel like it's not my place to tell people what to believe in, how to believe, how to worship, and everything like that. So I'm not saying that. That's not my place. I feel like, you know, everybody have their own personal relationship with God, and, you know, whatever they choose to do, that's fine, you know, because, you know, I can't judge nobody else's spiritual relationship. I can only go on my own. So that's how I feel. So please don't think that I'm trying to judge nobody or telling you how to worship.
I've seen it all.
Yeah.
I went to my aunt's church, and I don't know what was happening. Everybody was just standing up in line. You know how the preacher comes and put something and you fall out.
Yep.
And I saw everyone falling out, and when he did it to me, I just stood there. I was like, well, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
Am I
yeah.
supposed to fake fall?
Yeah.
But I was a kid then. It just didn't.
And you fell out.
No, I just stood there and I
Yeah.
was looking around like, okay, how is everyone falling out? I didn't understand it.
And
But
this, I ain't trying to be funny, but why every time when you church and they start speaking, why they always say Ashanti? Like,
Man, I'm not getting into
that. I'm like, why can't what's wrong with Beyonce? like, or Lil Kim or somebody, they always say Ashanti. Then he walking off the show. They always say Ashanti. You don't remember that? It's like Ashanti. I'm like, okay.
I'm waiting for that lightning bolt.
Because she wasn't even out back then. Okay, I think we need to move on.
I ain't touching.
They did. Tell the truth though. They always say Ashanti.
don't comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we go.
Alright.
Everybody say what they got to say about spiritual psychosis.
Yeah, so you
Yes.
know, hey, I mean, I know I don't know what I'm talking about. So y'all leave y'all comments.
Me
Leave your
neither.
comments.
Yeah,
Everybody
follow,
has something to
share,
believe in.
subscribe to Thought Ops. I do really. This was sitting on me all week. Like I wanted to talk about this, but yeah, follow, share, like, subscribe. Follow us on YouTube and leave a comment.